Bodyweight burnouts. Complete each isometric hold or exercise until you reach burnout. Burnout is when you feel heat, burn, or pain in the muscle. Then I want you to push it a little bit longer or do a little bit more reps. Let's start out with a plank, making sure your shoulders are underneath or right above your elbows. Right there I angled my hips differently. Just about a 30-degree twist. These are isometric holds. In other words, nothing is moving. You're just focusing on feeling that in your oblique line. Push up to a 4-point plank, making sure your shoulders are right above the palms of your hands, your hips are flat. Keeping your hands and feet where they are, press back until you feel this in your lats down the side of your back. You might also feel that stretch in your calves. Now put the weight over your hands and you're going to try and do some pike push-ups. Notice how my chin is dipped a little bit so that the brunt force of this is coming to the shoulders. Walk it in, see how my legs are in parallel position there, pushing up through the heels to do body weight squats. Think about your glutes, your butt pushing back so that your knees aren't coming too far over your feet. Go ahead and do an inchworm, walking it out to a 4-point plank. Bend the knees, walk it right back in. You can stand up out of that or you can just come to the squat position. There's another inchworm coming out. And back in, you might feel this in the quads, you'll feel it in your core and your shoulders. Now my feet are together doing push-ups. You can drop, do these from your knees, making sure that your elbows are angled 45 degrees away from your ribs. Holding a 4-point plank, lift one of your legs to contract the glute muscle. And go ahead and switch to the other side. If you want more of a contraction, slightly bend your knee so it's more of a bent hook position. Holding that 4-point plank again, focusing on very, very tight core. Drop to your knees. Most of the hard work is done now. And right here, you're just getting a nice good stretch through your triceps. Go ahead and push up, walk it in. Give yourself a good hamstring stretch there. Think of the backs of your knees pulling straight. Bending over, we're going to stretch the quad muscle. So press those knees forward, push your hips up and forward. Stay here as long as that stretch feels good, 15, 20, 30 seconds. Go ahead and stand back up. Facing the wall, we're going to do some calves raises. So this is a toes out position. Now we're going to do parallel position. Being sure that, remember, we're going to burn out in every single one of these exercises, and toes in, focusing on the ankle bones staying closer together. Then we're going to do some leg raises. So that is coming up straight behind me, toes pointing barely out. Don't let them turn out too much. Next, we've got some squats focusing on correct form. So the knees, you know, there really is no chance for them to go much over your toes because that wall is there. So really focusing on pushing those glutes back, making sure your hips, knees, and ankles and toes are all parallel. Now we're going to do a wall sit, making sure once again that see that 90-degree angle. Do not put your hands on your legs even though you want to. Just hold this and really take your mind somewhere. The next thing we're going to do is, let's see. All right, we've got a split squat hold, or it's also known as a lunge. Now make sure that front leg is at a 90-degree angle. So you're going to hold that until it hurts, then you're going to pull it back and stretch just like I did there. Now back into it. This time we rep it out, coming straight up and straight down. Notice how my toes are slightly up. I'm pushing through that front heel. Give it another stretch once it reaches burnout. And finally, we go down into a deep runner's lunge. Think of pushing that back heel towards the wall, trying to get that back knee as straight as possible. Simply straighten the front leg here to get this nice stretch. Trying to keep your hips level so it's more of a hamstring stretch than a groin stretch. Go ahead and switch. Let's do the other side. Think about really widening your legs. Look how wide my stance is. That's what helps us to get the triggers in your glutes instead of your quads. There's our little stretch again. Now we'll rep it out. Once again, weight is in the heel of the foot, pushing up through the glutes, not through the quad. You will feel it in the quad a little bit, but mentally think of lifting up from underneath the glutes. It all comes from that heel and that awareness. Giving it another stretch, we'll go ahead and come down into a runner's lunge. Think of that hip flexor. So right there, my left hip flexor is really getting a nice stretch. Now push into it. Here's another chance to stretch that hamstring. You'll also get a nice stretch in the back leg, which you've got your calf extended there. And now a normal hamstring stretch. Now I want you to cross with your arm, and then you're going to reach that other arm up to the sky. You're going to feel this through your back, in your hamstring. You're going to feel this a lot of different places. So this is a windmill hamstring stretch. It's going to feel really good. Hold that as long as you can. Now go ahead and just rock, rock, rock right here. You're going to feel the transition in your glutes and your quads, and just enjoy this nice stretch. Go ahead and come together. And you're going to contract forward, drop your chin to your chest, and coming up one vertebrae at a time. Think of the oxygen really going in your back and protecting your spine. Now we're going to stretch your arms, pull that arm across. Think of that shoulder pressing down. A lot of people forget that, and it's up by their ear. Take it behind you, give yourself a nice tricep press. Now we're stretch. Now we're going to lengthen it. You're going to feel that all the way through your lat. Before switching to the other side. Once again, make sure that shoulder is pressing down right here. Take it up nice and behind. Think about trying to touch the small of your back with that hand that's behind you, stretching it over, lengthening your sides. Now we'll take both hands, so the backs of your hands on your hips, and then stretch it forward. You'll feel all of your back really open up right here. Rolling it up one vertebrae at a time. Roll those shoulders back and down, really opening up your chest. Make sure you're breathing right here. Stretch your neck and holding it nice and long. Be sure you're thinking about pressing down that opposite shoulder at the same time as that neck is stretching. Gently pull your head forward, and you should slowly come forward. You're going to feel this all throughout your back, so not just your neck. Should be a very nice stretch for you. Be sure to move slowly, really listening to your body. Take those arms up and extend backwards, just nice and open and really relaxed. Good posture. You should feel really good at this point. So you just finished your body weight burnout.